Hello and welcome to the final whistle. I'm Steve Forbes.
I'm Kenzie Benali.
Well, Saints were pretty quick out of the blocks tonight, but ultimately a disappointing evening as they succumbed to a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Arsenal here at St Mary's. Joining us to discuss all the match reaction is Dean Hammond and Adam Leach. Dean, let's come to you first. What was your overall thoughts of the game?
It was an entertaining game, especially first half. It was end to end. Started in a really exciting manner where Arsenal potentially should have been 1-0 up, and then some good play by Southampton, and then some good work from the training ground to score from a set piece, and a really good finish by Armstrong. And then Arsenal came back strong, and they had some more attacking threat than they did at the weekend, and they looked pretty aggressive in their possession, playing forward, trying to get the ball wide, trying to find passes in between defenders, and scored 2 goals, which unfortunately came against the 2 younger fullbacks. Probably not their fault, but just a little bit of inexperience there. And then the second half, kind of Southampton had lots of possession, good territory, but just couldn't find their breakthroughs. You know, Arsenal had that disciplined shape. And then scored a good goal on their counter-attack. So a disappointing result, but still some positives that came from the game. And you move on from it. It's one game that you can learn from. Some younger players have got more experience. Danny Ings has got another 75 minutes under his belt. So there is some positives, but yeah, disappointing result.
And what about yourself, Adam? Was it just a frustrating night for Saints, not being able to find that bit of luck to make the breakthrough?
Yeah, I think really the injuries and the suspension as well caught up with them a bit tonight. They did look a little bit tired in the second half, and definitely just defensively, I felt. But any team, I guess, if you're missing 3/4 of your regular starting back four, you're going to feel that. And Saints definitely did tonight. They just. Yeah, I mean, there was bright spots, certainly in the first half. Sadly, before both the Arsenal goals, really, actually, Saints had a period where they did well, but they were just a bit too sloppy in possession. I think we saw some of the inexperience, and I guess this will raise a few questions again about the depth of the squad, really, because, I mean, they have suffered. There are quite a few players out, so you have to bear that in mind. It's not just as if it's 1 or 2 players out, but nonetheless, I think we've seen probably fairly conclusively that when you get beyond that first 13 players, maybe there perhaps is a bit of a significant drop-off, and Saints go from perhaps being a team that are really challenging at the very top to being more of a mid-table type side. And just a disappointing evening, really. I do agree with Dean. There were some positives still to come out of it, but yeah, I think plenty to ponder on for Ralph after this one.
Adam, as Dean mentioned in his answer just a moment ago, the game certainly kicked off in an exciting fashion. Before we scored, Arsenal obviously had that chance. Then Stuart Armstrong went to score that great goal from a fantastic set piece. It was certainly a brilliant goal from a Southampton perspective.
It was, and it was one of those that you imagine that has been well worked on the training ground. I suspect they've seen something there in the coaching staff. That they have good analysts at the club, and they would have looked at Arsenal and looked at the way that they line up and they defend set pieces. And I suspect they've seen a vulnerability there that they can try and exploit. And then they've probably drilled that on the practice on the training ground, and then they've executed it. It was a great finish from Armstrong, and Armstrong played really well, especially in that first half. But it was a great delivery again from Prowsey. I mean, we come to expect this now of him, obviously, but it wasn't a straightforward delivery to exactly pick out that spot. Stuart Armstrong was able to kind of take it in his stride as well, which really helped. A really well worked goal, I think. I think that was not a fluke. It wasn't a miss-hit corner from Prowsey that just found its way to Armstrong. That was very, very deliberate from them. And I think it was well deserved for Stu Armstrong tonight, because I think of all the Saints players, he was probably the best one out there tonight. He had a really good game this evening, so he deserved his goal.
Well, Arsenal did score 2 goals after that, with both of them coming from Saints playing out from the back. Dean, is there any blame attached to Southampton from their point of view? for how they conceded the goals?
I wouldn't say there's any blame, Steve. I'd give credit to Arsenal. I think they pressed Southampton very, very well. They timed their press well as well. When the defender felt as though he had time on the ball, they really raced him to put them under pressure, to force them to make a quicker decision. But potentially with the goals, yes, you're always taught as a defender to show a player wide, to defend on the inside and not allow players to run inside you to find gaps. And that kind of happened with the two fullbacks, but they were playing very, very high up the pitch with a very attacking manner, and I'm sure that would have been encouraged by the coach and the manager to play like that. So they're going to get caught out in them positions because it's very difficult to play high when you have possession of the ball and then recover into position. So I wouldn't say there's blame. There's some probably naivety and a little bit of tactical area where the fullbacks got a little bit too high before Southampton had comfortable possession to be able to play that pass. I think the first goal, Jack Stevens tried to play a ball out with his left foot and it gets cut out on Arsenal break and Valerie's out of position, and very similar for the second goal. And potentially a poor decision by McCarthy as well. You know, Saka's gone away from goal and probably a cross goal on his weaker right foot as well, and probably didn't need to come off his line. I think Vokins probably would have recovered and put him under pressure. But that happens in football. You have to make decisions very, very quickly and work off your instincts. So I wouldn't say there's any blame, but there's definitely lessons to be learnt from them goals that were conceded.
And there was very nearly a stunning goal from Cedric. But Adam, how would you assess the first half as a whole for Southampton?
Yeah, I mean, on Cedric, I think that was one of his finest ever performances at St Mary's tonight. He was superb. But yeah, the first half, I mean, obviously Arsenal had that early opportunity, but other than that, I think Saints started pretty well actually, and they were doing okay. And they kind of had a couple of good spells as well in the first half. They're probably their biggest weakness in the first half was just that they were just a little bit uncharacteristically sloppy in possession. They weren't awful, but they just gave the ball away a little bit cheaply a few times. And those turnover in possession did kind of break up the rhythm of their play. And it did aid Arsenal. And Arsenal kind of came into the game and obviously got the two goals before half time, which really had turned the match on its head, and Saints couldn't recover. So I thought they were decent in the first half. It was certainly better compared to the second half. I mean, Saints did drop off in the second half, I think. And probably once they went 3-1 down, the changes did feel a little bit like Ralph had kind of written the game off and was kind of packing up ready for the challenges that lie ahead and give a few youngsters a bit more experience, which I don't really disagree with. I think that's probably a sensible thing to do. But it was, overall, I think the first half was certainly the better of the two from a Saints point of view, even though they conceded twice.
Well, Southampton definitely had more of the ball in the second half as Arsenal sat deeper. It felt like the next goal would have been a decisive one. How frustrating was it that it actually went to Arsenal, Dean?
Yeah, you're right, Steve. A 2-1 with Southampton and a lot more possession of the ball in Arsenal's territory. The next goal was really, really important. And it was difficult for Southampton to try and break that Arsenal defence down. They defended very, very narrow, allowed the ball to go wide and encouraged Southampton to cross the ball and defended well, to be honest. And there wasn't really that many opportunities for Southampton. Potentially the shot from Theo from the edge of the box, he had a good connection with it, but hit it too well and went straight at the goalkeeper. Shay Adams, almost going through one-on-one and a good recovery from Holding. And then James Ward-Prowse's free kick. So they're kind of half opportunities, half chances, but no real clear-cut opportunity to get back in the game. So lots of possession, lots of intent, but Arsenal, I think they played very, very well tonight, second half. And their goal on the break was a brilliant crossfield pass by Cedric, a fantastic cross by Saka with his wrong foot, his right foot, and Lacazette couldn't really miss. So there wasn't quite that cutting edge second half, but I don't think that was due to Southampton's poor play. I just think Arsenal defended very, very well and learnt from their lessons from the weekend.
Adam, looking specifically then at Jake Vokins and Jan Valerie, we spoke pre-match about just how big an occasion it is for them tonight. How did they do for you this evening?
I think we predicted a tough night for them both, and I think that's what they got. They were up against two fast, quick players. Arsenal certainly tried to exploit, as we suspected they might, the sort of relative inexperience on the wings. Saka and Pepe are good players, and they've got a lot of quality, and they gave them a tough time. I think when you look at Valerie in particular, we spoke before the game and said the defensive side of his game was what we really wanted to see tonight. Unfortunately, I don't think he really delivered in that respect. Going forward, he was adventurous. It didn't always come off for him, but he kind of played in the mold of Walker Peters and the system that Ralph wants to play. He showed he understood that in the way that he went forward and he attacked. But defensively, the question marks that were there about him when he had that run in the team, and it kind of came to an end a couple of years ago, kind of there again, I think, tonight, and yeah, fairly glaring at times. Vokins again, a tough game, but I think maybe, obviously he got taken off for Redmond in the second half, but I think both of them will take something from the match tonight. I think that will be a big learning experience. I suppose what you would say with Vokins is that he is less experienced than Valerie, and so these are still really fundamental minutes for Valerie, even though they're both a very similar age. He obviously needs to show that he's learning a lot from these, because he has had more games. He cannot have the excuse of it's only his second or third game. He's obviously played quite a bit in the first team, so even though it's very tough for him to come in, and play at that level against a team like Arsenal, when he's been playing, behind the scenes and lower league oppositions in cup games, it's still something for him to try and take that opportunity. And I think they both showed a bit, not having to go. They both showed a little bit of promise, but I think that Walker Peters and Bertrand certainly look like very much the first choice when you look at the two lads that are behind them at the moment.
Well, on a brighter note, Ibrahima Diallo had another good game. Dean, what did you make of him, considering he also played a portion of the game out of his natural position at left back?
Yeah, I thought he was impressive again. Adam mentioned Stuart Armstrong, I thought was excellent tonight, but Diallo was just as impressive. Different approach. I thought he was very, very calm on the ball, actually. Very composed. His range of passing and his selection of passing was good. He had the moments where he would break play up and then he would drive out of the back four and make ground up the pitch, and then try and be creative. There was a time I think he received the ball in the midfield. He checked back and then tried to have a strike with his left foot in the first half. Obviously, the connection and shot wasn't great. But yeah, more forward thinking, but very, very composed on the ball, relaxed, and another good display by him. Like we mentioned, 21 years old, he's gaining experience, and he's playing very, very well. And then when he filled in a left back, again, looked comfortable, looked very capable in that position. Obviously not his natural position, but just shows that he's an all-round good footballer. His confidence is growing, his understanding of the club is growing. So yeah, he's got a bright future, and it's been a really, really good investment by the football club.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, attention now shifts to the next job at hand, which is, of course, Aston Villa away on Saturday. Adam, what are your early thoughts on that game?
Well, I think from Saints' point of view, from Ralph's point of view, he's going to be hoping he's got some players back. I think that's going to be key, really, for Saints. Obviously, Ryan Bertrand will come back from suspension. They come straight back in the team, we would assume. And I guess it depends on what the damage is with Walker Peters as to whether he can make it back. I know there's half a chance of Oriol being back, maybe Yannick as well. Obviously, this is going to make a big difference to Saints if they start getting players fit again. Villa, to be fair to Villa, I mean, they're having a great season. Really, really fantastic season, and credit to them and to Dean Smith there. They're doing a great job. So they will be difficult opponents for Saints, especially. Yeah, I imagine Saints are feeling a little bit. The confidence is maybe a little bit shaken at the moment. Not that they're on their knees or anything like that, but when you've had that, I think real forward momentum that they've enjoyed for quite a long time now, since the restart at the end of last season. Now they're just running into this period which we kind of predicted that they would have to deal with at some point, where you get injuries, you get suspensions, you perhaps lose a few games, you don't just constantly move forward. Then it's a big question mark for you when you get those players back again. Can you kind of pick up where you left off before they went out? So I think that's the thing for Saints. I predict it will be a good game again. I think, Aston Villa are quite open as well. They play some good stuff, and so do Saints. So I think if Saints can get those players back, they'll be confident. If they don't, it's going to be harder. But I think we'll see another good game, and I would expect some more goals as well.
Yeah, most definitely. And my apologies, it's actually Southampton that will be welcoming Aston Villa here at the weekend. Dean, how do you see that one going?
Very similar to what Adam said. I think Aston Villa are having a really, really good season. They're a dangerous team, full of confidence. But yeah, if we can get some of the more experienced players back, if Vestergaard can return, if Oriol can return, Nathan Redmond obviously has got 20 minutes tonight. Ryan's going to come back into the team. I think that's really, really important. I think it was the first time tonight I felt as though they missed that little bit of experience. The team looked a little bit young for the first time, and that's expected because, the squad's been kind of stretched at the moment. And like Adam said, we expected that period. So it's probably the first time in a little while where a result's not needed, but you would like a result just to kind of bring it all back to a kind of composed, steady, relaxed atmosphere and thinking, okay, we're okay here. We're through in the FA Cup. We've got another win, a home win. Now we can really start looking forward. Players are coming back from suspension. Players are coming back from injury. So it's a good game. And I agree with Adam, I think there'll be goals again. Southampton always create chances, and Aston Villa look like they can score with the attacking players they've got. So it should be a good match.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, Dean, Adam, thank you so much for your company, as always. Great to have you on the show. As we've said, we will be back for another Saints Live at the weekend. Do make sure you join us for that one. But until then, have a great week and stay safe.